That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to a big and normal episode of your favourite podcast and one of my favourites too, That's a Shame. I'm Isaac, and in case you were feeling a different vibe from me, let me just get this out front. I'm standing up today, which is huge for me. And mental. That laugh you hear over there, it's none other than Delkin. How are you, Delkin?
I'm very well, thank you. It's Great. So very strange doing this without
I don't
you
like
here.
It much. Yeah, no? I'm far away now, guys. They finally got me. What can I say?
After they found out he failed that immigration quiz.
Oh yeah, the citizenship test, guys. I'm stuck in Dover.
Booted him out.
I'm in the White Cliffs. I'm inside them right now. Aptly named, it turns out. No, I'm just away this weekend in a COVID-safe way. Don't worry. Don't dob me in, anyone, or I'll ban you from listening to the show in future.
He'll get you.
We're doing like our OG setup, which is via, the internet, guys. We use it too. And it means that I can't see Declan can't see me. And the whole kind of rhythm and energy and timing of the show, it's out the window. It's gone. In a big way.
What would ordinarily have been can no longer be. Because I would do a sort of face where I sort of like half open my mouth.
Oh, he does those all the time.
And Isaac knows that I'm about to cut across with something to say. But
his mouth face, he calls it.
I'm still doing the mouth face, but he can't bloody see it.
And I'll try and listen for the cues, but you won't be making them, I guess.
What I could do is I could do a sort of like instead when I want to speak.
That's cool. So a bit like a walkie-talkie works when you're like, there's an enemy coming. And then you're like, copy and stuff like that. So we could make like our own vernacular for when you want to speak.
We could do, or I've just realised.
I think that idea sucks.
Because it's going to be more of a me-led show, I don't care.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's fine.
I mean, in one way, then it might be maybe the easiest way to maintain the normal vibe of the shows if I just don't talk for the whole time.
So you're here
just so the energy's not fucked.
Purely to facilitate the technological aspect of the recording.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Well, it wasn't going to be me. I'd have been shouting into my laptop. I wouldn't even have I wouldn't even have it open.
You don't even know about connecting to Cast. It would have been just nothing.
I don't know anything. I don't know what it is.
God bless you.
It appears to have a sort of cassette. Is that how?
That's it. Yeah, we're going straight to tape.
That's good.
Regardless of all these technical hurdles that have left me, I just want to say again, standing up, but also I'm holding a microphone in my hands, guys. This is a very weird vibe. Like I'm also looking at myself in the mirror, which I think that's good, actually. I think that's an improvement.
That's actually not too dissimilar from normal, because there is a mirror behind me when we record in your room. Yeah.
Do you catch me kind of leaning and peeking?
All the time I see.
Damn, I thought those were subtle.
Checking yourself out.
You've got to. Someone has to. But we're soldiering on the lesson. It's for. Do you know who it's for? It's for you at home, not for us.
Is it? I thought it was. I was doing it for me.
No, okay. Well, you can do it for you, but I'm selflessly doing this just for the listeners.
I'm happy to do it for the listeners as well.
Yeah, well, as an afterthought.
But then I think that it would be nice if they got in touch.
Okay,
it'd be good, wouldn't it? And
maybe they
just
can get in touch.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, subject line.
Maybe they send us an email.
Well recorded, good audio. Isaac wasn't just in my left ear, you could say. That could be one of the subject
that's one
lines.
of the things they would say, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the ways you could accurately describe this here app.
And what kind of ep awaits us today? Because I'm out here in the sticks and I'm in suspense. I've kind of forgotten how it feels to be amongst the movers and shakers of the big city, London town, the big smoke, the old fog, the large grey apple. And so colour me out of touch is what I'm saying. What's going on the ground? How's the vibe? Are we ready to get amongst it?
I've honestly been inside for most of it, so I'm not entirely sure. But while I was out, let me tell you, here are some things. Expensive. Oh dear God. Going to the pub.
It wasn't like that when I left.
Going to the pub again, it costs so much money. It's a real shame.
That is unfortunate. I guess you've been saving over the pandemic, right? So you've probably got like a real nest egg.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
I've not been spending it on fucking commuting just as usual anyway, have I?
No, probably not.
So it's been it's okay here as far as I know. It's not been bad. I'm not saying.
Have people been asking about me, like just trying to check where I'm up to?
Who?
Just the people, like the people that normally check in and wonder about what's going on in our lives, stuff like that.
Well, to be fair,
it's fine if they
I've been
haven't.
off. No, I know it would be. I know you're not the sort of person who would define themselves by that sort of thing. But in all honesty, I've not really been looking at my phone, so I wouldn't know. Maybe they have.
They probably have.
I'll probably check that
after the show.
Yeah, I mean, it has. I have heard it buzzing quite a bit, so that's probably them. That's probably them.
They're always buzzing. They're always fucking buzzing.
So
I say to them, guys, I'm fine. It's all right. It's just the weekend.
Yeah. So without me actively having to check and go through it, I would, if I were you, just kind of assume that they have, and you just be happy with that.
And in terms of the episode for today, I know it's something that we've both put a lot of thought into. Just talk me through the vibe. Talk me through what made you land on the content that you have today.
Well, what made me land on it is something we call last minute desperation.
Well, they say that's the mother of invention.
They do. They say last minute desperation is the mother of invention. That's how they say it. No, so basically I did have an idea for content today, and I had about an hour in which to prepare it. And
it wasn't one of those needs 2 hours ideas, was it?
Well, I didn't believe it was going to be, but it turns out it's possibly one of those needs a week kind of idea.
Ballooned.
I'll tease it, to be honest, because we will be going over it, which is recently on the Patreon we did a little episode that's over at patreon.com/shamecity, by the way.
Yeah.
We did an episode where a friend of mine had sent me some screenshots from a security guard they know on Facebook who was sharing.
He was a bit like Batman, if I may say, because he was a security guard by night but a meme lord by day.
just like Bruce Wayne
Batman
himself.
Yeah.
So he was posting, and these weren't just any memes; they were racist memes.
Wow, super racist they were,
and they were,
and not just racist.
No, they were transphobic.
They really covered a lot of bases.
They were it was comprehensive. But they very excitedly sent me this friend, not this security guard. They very excitedly sent me a new thing he'd posted, which was a link to a website that is called The Lighthouse, I believe, which self-describes as a truth paper.
A truth paper, huge. Is that one word?
It is one word, yes.
Yeah,
it is one word. It's like, I don't know if you picked up, but it's like newspaper.
Yeah, I see
they're
that
not,
now.
But they're not part of the lamestream media.
That's fair.
They are an independent and truth-only kind of organization.
Wow. How do they weed out, like, if, say, I wanted to get something published there, they'd want to stop that, first of all, right? Because I imagine we have quite differing views. How do they know when they come across something that, like, doesn't tick the truth box?
Well, it's interesting.
I
think, now I don't know because I haven't heard back from anyone from there, but I think that you've hit upon it yourself anyway, which is that if what you say doesn't really conform with their views,
that's false,
then it clearly cannot be true.
Right. I guess that's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah. And in a way, it's foolproof.
Yeah. Well, in another way, it's a full magnet.
Well, no, but you don't mean that.
No, I don't. I'm just saying that's what they would say, right? The MSM.
Yes,
if
exactly.
they were being cynical.
Okay, that's good. I was worried for a second. But yeah, so I started diving in, and honestly, there is
a treasure trove.
There's a lot there, and I didn't. Not that I'm going to read every single issue that they've published.
No, feel free to.
No, I.
We want to be well prepared for the show, I guess. If we're going after the Lighthouse, you better not miss. Because they don't take any prisoners.
Well, you say that, but what are they going to do? They've got no state support because the state can't. What are they going to do? Go to the police?
True.
Come on, they're part of the system. Yeah. They're part of a phrase that I did read in there, which is the New World Order. Which is an interesting one. That's cropped up in a few places that we've researched.
I thought that had kind of fallen off as a as a vibe, but I'm glad to see that it's resurging.
Yeah, well, someone's got to keep the old stalwarts alive, haven't they?
For sure.
So instead, I thought I'd go back to a classic, and in a way, I suppose that probably makes a lot of sense, especially for you, because you're in a stranger in a strange land right now.
Absolutely.
Aren't you? I mean, it is your home.
Well, strangely, it is. That's the strangest thing of all.
But
Don't recognise it. I don't know any of the people here.
But also, you're far. We haven't done it like this in yonks, as people you like would say.
Yeah, I love that phrase.
So I thought it's been a while. Let's check out what's going on in the news. Not from the truth papers, but from the newspapers.
Okay.
Specifically the ones that are online.
So this is a very topical show, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. It is a topical show. And I think all of these things are going to speak to both you and to the listenership in general.
Is it edutainment?
I mean, aren't we always?
Yeah, I suppose
have we ever had an episode that was not?
We're not in that category on iTunes, and I wonder if that's egg on my face. Like maybe we've cut ourselves off to a huge listenership that want to be edutained.
I thought that was probably where we were picking up most of our listeners.
Damn. Okay, let me write that down. I'll note that while you outline the concept.
Okay, that's good. So what it is, I've got 5 different stories here, all of which I think speak to a certain specific aspect of the zeitgeist.
Oh God, 1 second. Something bad's happened.
I think I heard.
Yeah, it's come back though.
I think I heard me.
There we go. We're back.
Oh my
All
God.
good.
Woo! I was touch and go there for a second.
It was scary. I don't know what caused it, and I don't wish for it to happen again.
So we're gonna go through, and I'd be interested to hear, because you're a pretty worldly guy, and
thanks.
I know that you like to keep yourself informed. Some of this I presume you'll have heard. Mm-hmm. Some of it maybe you won't though. And
I have some quite arcane sources, so if it hasn't made the arcane press, then quite possibly it will have bypassed me.
Yeah, maybe not. But I'd love to hear your take on it. You know.
Sure. No, happy to. Absolutely.
So like I said, we've got 5. Are they in order, you ask? Mm-hmm. Yes, but also no.
Okay, maybe that's part of the fun of the episode, is like work out what connects
they are
them
in
and what the order is.
They are in an order.
Yeah.
But just not one that I've put a kind of thought into.
But at least consciously.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always ticking away back there, isn't it? So, first one, I think you likely will have heard of this one, but I just thought it'd be worth bringing to the listeners' attention, if nothing else. New York man cuffed after posting on dating app that he did, quote, storm the Capitol during riot.
Wow, he posted that on the dating apps.
Oh, yeah. So the FBI said in the days following the January 6th siege, Robert Chapman posted a picture of himself inside the Capitol and told someone on a dating app that he stormed it.
Huge. He's very upfront about it, I guess.
He really was.
He's an honest guy. Maybe that's what he was trying to get across. He's like, look, I've made mistakes, and this was not one of them, and that's why I'm apparently going to tell you about it right now.
Yeah, he was extremely proud of what he had done. So another New York man was arrested for his alleged role in the siege at the US Capitol in January.
I hadn't heard about the others.
Oh yeah, no, loads
of them.
This is
news to me.
They keep getting picked off mostly, and you wouldn't believe this, for people who are so, distrusting of the system, because they've just posted about it all over the gaff.
Oh, that's such a mistake, guys.
It's a rookie error, isn't it? And more than that, like, took videos of themselves, pictures of themselves.
Saying their names. They said their social security number as they stepped into Nancy Pelosi's office to kick a trash bin to death.
So he was he talked about storming the building on social media and dating apps. So he's been arrested, charged with trespassing and disorderly conduct on restricted government property.
Whoops.
He also told a woman that he'd matched with on a dating app Bumble that I did storm the Capitol and that he, quote, made it all the way to Statuary Hall, court papers allege. Now, the funny thing here that it doesn't say in the rest of this article, but I happen to know, having seen some of the screenshots in another article, is that she then replied with, "We are not a match." and he I think humbly replied with, "No, I don't think so."
Wow. Well, I guess it's quite a good strategy in one sense. Like, it's very divisive thing to lead with.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, her saying that they're not a match was one possibility, but the other possibility is she just married.
Marriage. she becomes his trad Catholic wife, and they have 84 children, all called variants on Brandine, and it's just beautiful.
And they're all, let me say this, Aryan.
Well, of course they are.
If not in appearance, then in spirit.
Now, other shows might have covered this story, but one area where I feel they may not have dived into is the precise wording of his opening gambit. And it's the word did for me that really does it. Because it's like he's protesting. Like, no, come on, I did. Or he's like, I did do this and I will do something else. It's like he's, hinting at further danger.
I like to think it's more quotidian than that. I like to think that maybe it's a follow-up to a bit that we haven't seen in the conversation, where she's like, "So did you get up? Did you get up to much?" And he's like, "No, quiet week. I did storm the Capitol."
Oh, we're not a match. Whoops.
No, yeah, probably not. In addition to the Bumble communication, also it's very funny that it was on Bumble. I can't imagine that why a man such as himself is on Bumble.
What's Bumble like? Why?
Bumble's gimmick is that it empowers women
message
because
first.
they're the ones who have to message first.
Right. So that's why then, because he probably got the message and he just straight away, like, he realizes that he has to, as part of the Dennis system, he has to do the D, demonstrate value, like, as soon as possible. He needs to be quick off the mark.
He needs her to know that he's a strong man who can protect her.
Who did raid the Capitol.
And he did. Well, he did. He got all the way to Statuary Hall. Like, he wasn't one of these nobodies.
I don't know where that is, but I imagine
it sounds like it's probably in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, it sounds like where they serve lunch.
In addition to the Bumble communication, the FBI was informed about a Facebook post in which another person shared a photo of Chapman seemingly inside the Capitol, captioning it, "My dear friend and bro star Robert made it in the Capitol building at the protest yesterday. Woohoo!" Exclamation marks. In the comments,
it would never occur to me to just post like a footage of myself.
Hey, here's Declan doing a crime.
Yeah,
here's my bro star Declan doing a bigger crime.
It'd be ironic if we're ever done for something that we've said on the podcast, like actually it was illegal for us to escape from Block Switch because it offended the citizens there.
Because we'd signed a contract to stay the night.
Yeah.
In the comments, a man with the username Robert Eric, whom officials believe to be Chapman, wrote in response to others, "These are your peers, colleagues. They are a bunch of little bitch trolls, keyboard warriors who don't do a fucking thing," according to court papers.
Unlike me, and I did go to Statuary Hall.
I did.
Ask me about my experience. Check out my video I drew and map.
In other posts from before the siege and the day of it, the same public Facebook profile, Robert Eric, posted that he was leaving New York City. The rotten apple, gonna go down to the District of Criminality to enjoy some deserved entertainment.
Very funny that he's called it that, to go and do a crime there. Like he's dunking on his own actions that he's about to do.
Or that maybe he was just being very upfront as to why he was going. I need to do a crime, why not go too?
Yeah, it's the centre for it.
The following day, he posted that he was, in all caps, inside the Capitol, along with photos posing inside the building.
Oh,
a review of body cam footage from the Metropolitan Police Department also revealed video of Chapman in Statuary Hall. Which, to be fair, at least he was not lying. Like lots of men on dating apps.
Yeah, I've been saying that to people. Like I've been for weeks saying that I did storm the Capitol, and luckily no one's asked for any kind of follow-up proof. But the proof for Robert Eric Chapman was very much in every medium he had control over. Like he's shouting it from the rooftops. He was begging to be arrested.
Very, very clear. Unfortunately, so he has been arrested. Unfortunately, the article ends by saying that he seemingly was not available for comment.
Damn.
But all I can imagine he would have said is, "I did do this crime."
I've said everything there is to say. I did do the crime. I posted about it a great deal. It was huge.
Next up is, I think, something that you and I mean, it's presented, this story, as if it was. As if the protagonist, as it were, was unlucky, when I think you and I would be pretty pleased to be in his situation.
Okay.
But let's see. Here we go. McDonald's robber demands chicken nuggets, has to accept breakfast food because it was still too early.
Damn! Oh, he's absolutely fucked it on the chicken nugget theft front. Such a basic. problem.
McDonald's, the article starts, really is strict about what time lunch starts.
I really is strict about being robbed. They hate it.
A man has been jailed for robbing a McDonald's in England and making off with not only some cash, but also food. Unfortunately for him, not only did he get caught, but he wasn't even able to get the meal he was hoping for at the time of the robbery.
What outlet is this from that used not only about 8 times in that first opening?
Well, I don't want you to draw any conclusions, but it was from a little site I like to call foxnews.com.
Oh, well, that's probably just an accident. I'm sure they're very good.
So he pled guilty to robbing McDonald's in February.
I guess there's probably a great deal of evidence about that. He probably had the box of nugs on him as he was apprehended.
Yeah, the first 3 stories here all have a big theme of people doing just a lot of crime. Just
unforced
loads
errors.
of crime, yeah. So according to the news outlet, Batten claimed to having a gun and demand money from the register and forced a manager to give him access to the store's safe. On his way out, he reportedly demanded some of the fast food franchise's famous chicken nuggets. Unfortunately for him,
he worded it.
it was still too early in the day, and they were only serving breakfast menu items. God. Apparently, it says, he was unwilling to wait for staff to cook some nuggets, so made off with a double sausage McMuffin instead.
Just the one, though. Why would you only go for the sad little one, not even the meal?
Didn't even get the meal, yeah. He didn't even go for the hash browns.
That's
didn't even
tragic.
get himself a little Tropicana orange.
Deserves to be caught. He must have... I imagine his instinct there was not this robbery's really made me only a tiny bit hungry. It was in for a penny, in for a pound. If I'm going to get caught, I may as well get some McDonald's nuggets down me. But
I may as well sit in the back of the cop car
the
with a full
cowardice, right? To not go the full 9 yards and say, look, just give me a bag of uncooked chicken nuggets and I'll take them home and I will cook them myself. He needs to broaden his horizons, perhaps.
To just sweep, go to that little slider that they have where all of the burgers and muffins sit and just chuck it all in one big bag for himself.
We've all dreamt of it. So he had the chance to live that dream.
I stand there salivating at the counter just thinking about it.
God, he could have been a folk hero.
So he apparently made off with about 600 quid. But he was reportedly identified by CCTV cameras and indeed turned himself in later that day.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It was discovered
Really
that he also
through.
had an unloaded BB gun instead of a real gun.
Unloaded?
Yeah.
Why
Amazing.
didn't he unload it? Just in case.
I reckon there was a part of him that thought that if it was loaded, then it's
an
easier
extra
to
5
do
years.
for it.
5 years if you got those yellow pellets in there, son. Take someone's eye out with them.
Judge recently sentenced him to 6 years in prison.
Wow.
He claimed he'd robbed the restaurant in order to get money back to pay a debt. But his
cheeseburger-based
lawyer has said that he was ashamed and embarrassed by his actions. But which is a sentence that's interestingly phrased because it makes it sound like the lawyer is embarrassed by his actions.
I'm embarrassed to have to defend this man. He couldn't even steal a hash brown.
You wouldn't believe the wrong uns you end up.
Poor guy.
We've got 3 more. I like I say, there was another one that's crime based, but we're gonna skirt away from that for just a little bit.
Okay, maybe if crime went last, then that would bring us full circle in a way that would give the illusion of structure.
Crime's not going to go last because
it's a nice idea.
No, it wasn't. No, don't get me wrong. I can discuss it if you want, but I think that the only planning I have done is save the best until last.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So this one here is more something that I think you and I could imagine happening very much to me, which is why the story spoke to me. This is from the Manchester Evening News.
Shout
and
out.
the headline reads thusly: Uber driver drove into a Salford canal and still charged me £29.31 for the journey.
The fucking inclusion of the exact price is very good editorial choice. Very good.
A woman has spoken of her terror after her Uber driver drove into a canal in Salford and still charged her.
But wait, on purpose? Where was she trying to get to? Under the sea?
No. So listen to how this unfolds. Emma Lavelle was a passenger in the vehicle when the incident happened in Eccles in the early hours of April 11th. The 30-year-old says she noticed her Uber driver driving towards the Bridgewater Canal and told him to stop. But the driver allegedly ignored her pleas and turned left, driving the car straight into the water. He later told the police he'd been following his sat-nav just off Wolseley Road.
No, he wasn't. He obviously wasn't. I hate it on these people who are obviously trying to do some kind of mad attack blame their sat nav.
So just the slowest suicide of all time.
Yeah, he'd just been listening to Stan by Eminem.
Emma, a transport manager from Eccles, said she managed to get out of the vehicle and was told to walk the rest of the journey. After making the 15 minutes home, she realised she'd been charged.
Where was the guy? Did he tell her that while he was sinking into the canal?
No, so the picture shows the car basically like hanging off the side with the front dipped into the water.
Yeah.
With the lights looking very eerie.
You're not sure what the temperature of the pool is, and you're like testing it out. Like
Yeah,
the car was having a little trial.
Yeah, so you dip your whole like nose of your car in, just to see. Every time you have a bath, just to make sure. I'm sending you. This is like a mad little way of doing it. I'm just sending you a photo of the photo, just so that you can see exactly what I mean.
Oh yeah, it's right off the edge, guys. I mean, it's that point where like it would be part of if this were a more like egregious precipice, then this would be a big act 2 of the movie thing where it's like, nobody move. We gotta get out of here.
It's
slowly.
Basically just the end of the Italian Job.
Yeah.
Like just hanging over the edge. So yeah, speaking to the Manchester Evening News, Emma said he turned down the wrong street, and I said, you shouldn't be here. Don't continue down that road. There's a canal. He just carried on, and I told him
how formal that is.
Listen to this. He just carried on, and I told him he was in the canal.
Sir, excuse me.
Sorry. He asked me if I could get out, and thankfully I could. He said, are you okay to walk home? It's a 15-minute walk, and not the nicest area to walk on your own, she said. But it could have been worse. They both escaped the vehicle unhurt, and police were called eventually to recover the car from the water. Damn. She said she's since received a refund from Uber, but she said, I emailed them on Sunday saying I was involved in an accident and had still been charged, and they wouldn't investigate until I was on the news.
That's not their policy.
I contacted them again with the article, and they emailed to say they would give me a refund.
I would sue Uber for this.
He wasn't going that fast, she said. He was sort of going around 5 miles an hour. Then all of a sudden, the front of the car went into the canal. I thought, what the hell has even happened? How has he not seen the canal in front of him?
It was dark. We all made some mistakes that night, Emma. We could have been more forceful about this whole don't drive into the water.
I feel like she's really let him get away with it, to be honest.
I think I could I hope, I don't wish to like do that thing of like, oh well, if I'd have been there, it would have been different. But I feel like if I knew I was about to be driven into a canal, I'd be quite forceful about
is this part of your if you could speak to anyone for 15 minutes, you could change their view?
If I could speak to an Uber driver who was going 5 miles an hour into the sea, I'm confident that we could hash something out. And like, if he wants to drive into the sea, then that's his choice, right? That's his power, but he's got to drop me off home first.
To be fair, though, it does sound like, he was given fair warning a couple of times, and he was looking at a map, and this possibly is the most important point, it was right in front of him.
Yeah, the guy was desperate to experience that chitty chitty bang bang dream of driving round in the Salford Canal. Like, it's fair enough. It's probably good that he didn't get the chance on this occasion.
The article ends with a quote from Uber saying, all drivers who use the app are required to adhere to the highway code.
Which brackets specifically the part that says road, not sea.
Drive into canal,
we call it dry drive.
Our penultimate article is from stalwart of the show, bbc.co.uk/news.
Yes, love those guys.
/UK-England-Tyne 568581888.
Okay, so open up at home, guys. There's going to be a little comprehension quiz after the app.
Northumberland Longridge Towers School strip club teacher banned.
Sorry, talk me through that once more.
Northumberland Longridge Towers School, which I think
is that 3 words? That's just one place.
That's 4 words. So Northumberland Longridge Towers School, which I think is just the name of the school. Is that the full title of the school? Longridge Towers School. Okay. Yeah, and then there's they've done that newspaper syntax where there's no connectives, and they've just put strip club teacher banned.
Yeah, it just sounds like just an utterance that's completely at random.
Well, it is, isn't it?
The strip club teacher, though, I guess the first mistake was employing him.
Well, yeah, you'd think.
For that role.
Maybe, though, some people, they take a while to show their true colours in that regard, don't they? Like, sometimes you meet people and it's not until years later that you realise they've been to a strip club.
Okay, so he wasn't teaching, strip club-related stuff.
Oh no,
That's how
he
it
was
read.
doing-
It was like
he was
science
doing-
teacher, maths teacher, strip club teacher.
He was doing much, much worse.
Oh no.
An IT teacher who threatened pupils and took some to a strip club while he was drunk during a school trip has been banned from teaching. What?
Wow.
Wait for it. Wait for the buried lead here. For 3 years.
What? So in 4 years he's promised he's not going to do it anymore?
He can come
Stop.
back.
That's madness.
What is that about? How are you
very
allowed
strange.
to do that? Richard Glenn's behaviour was so, quote, unacceptable. He was sent home early during Longridge Towers School's trip
He
to
was
Costa
sent
Rica
home early.
in July 2019, the teaching regulation agency heard. Mr. Glenn, 55, admitted gross misconduct and was dismissed in August 2019. The Northumberland private school costs up to £4,850 a term for day pupils.
Paid in dollar bills.
A misconduct panel heard Mr. Glenn, who taught computer science and had been head of sixth form since 2007, was one of the leaders of the group of 16 to 18-year-olds that went to Costa Rica on the 5th of July 2019. He was supposed to be there until the 28th of July, but after 6 days was sent home by the expedition's leader, quote, due to his behaviour. His actions included, and then we've got a little bullet point list, drinking with pupils, allowing one or more pupils to drink alcohol despite being under the legal age of 18, threatening to, quote, kick the head in of one pupil and quote, kill another,
Oh no.
telling one pupil, I'm not in trouble, you'll be in trouble.
Oh, got him.
After being aggressive to another pupil, he kissed the boy's forehead and told him, you're all right.
This guy's unhinged.
Taking one or more pupils to a strip club, acting aggressively towards the woman leading the trip when she tried to help him back to his tent, and exposing himself to the woman in a shared hotel room, and that, although it was agreed this was not, quote, malicious or sexually motivated.
Oh dear. He was just like all over
He
the place.
literally just took his trousers off.
Oh dear.
The
What
panel-
sort of trip was this that involved tents, hotel rooms, strip clubs, and beating up children?
God
What a
only
crazy
knows what they were
expedition.
up to. I haven't been on any such school trips.
Madness.
Let alone, going to Costa Rica is probably enough.
That is insane, yeah.
I think that would probably be enough for me. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
need
you
to-
wouldn't have to go the extra mile
of beating up
of killing a
students and
child. No.
whipping my knob out and going to a strip club.
really-
I wouldn't have to do
yeah.
that. It was added there was, quote, no malice or sexual intent in taking the students to the lap dancing club, but Mr. Glenn admitted it was inappropriate and unprofessional for him to fail to control the situation.
Well, it sounded like he did control it. He sounded like he controlled it right over to the
sounds
strip
like he
club.
escorted them pretty successfully all the way. He added he could not remember what happened due to the state of intoxication, but he did not dispute the recollection of those present, the report said.
Wow. Tragic.
The panel was shown photos of drink tickets bought at the strip club and said it was satisfied that his conduct amounted to misconduct of a serious nature, which fell significantly short of the standards expected of the profession. The panel's report said Mr. Glenn was at various times during the school trip under the influence of alcohol and therefore not in a position to adequately take decisions or act in loco parentis should the need arise.
Yeah, I got that from the article. I picked up on that vibe.
After 3 years, the article ends, after the 3 years have elapsed, Mr. Glenn will need to apply for the ban to be lifted, the panel said.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just that he's like on hiatus until then. It's still
Goes straight
not
back
good.
into his job.
Like, I don't know why you couldn't just be like, no. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
there are a lot of people in the country, right? Like one of them not being allowed to be a teacher doesn't seem like it would be the end of the profession.
Like the amount of stress that is put, as someone who is like a trainee teacher at the moment, like the amount of stress that is put on professional standards, such as like not being late.
Did they cover like what happens if you even if you just went to a strip club kind of on school hours, like how many months of probation would you be expected?
They didn't, but I suppose I'd best ask.
Yeah.
Sooner rather
Put
than
it in
later,
an email.
just in
Yeah.
case. Yeah, well, definitely.
We'll update you on that, guys.
I probably won't do it in writing, to be honest.
No paper trail.
We've only got one article left.
What
This
a
is
journey
from
it's been already.
the Straits Times, but Straits
Times?
spelt like of Gibraltar.
Okay. And is it of Gibraltar?
No?
Cool.
Well, I don't know, but it's straitstimes.com/Asia/East-Asia.
Wow.
And then the headline is Russian man, quote, trapped on Chinese reality TV show, finally voted out.
Okay, this is a very interesting concept.
The reality TV ordeal of a Russian who joined a Chinese boy band show by accident and made it to the final despite urging fans to vote him off has finally ended after nearly 3 months.
Oh my God.
Mr. Vladislav Ivanov, a 27-year-old from Vladivostok, was kicked out of Produce Camp 2021 last Saturday. Viewers had ignored his pleas to leave and backed him all the way to the final.
Yeah, they didn't ignore them. They completely went in spite of them.
Mr. Ivanov, Ivanov. Sorry, I think I put an extra syllable in his name earlier.
Fine, it happens.
Who speaks fluent Mandarin, originally joined the show as a Chinese teacher. But he said he was invited to sign on as a contestant after the directors noticed his good looks. They asked if I would like to try a new life, Mr. Ivanov said during the show.
Top tip, always say no to that one if anyone asks.
He appeared to regret his decision almost immediately, but could not leave without breaching his contract. His lack of enthusiasm played out in half-hearted singing, rapping, and dancing alongside the other, more eager contestants.
Is the footage anywhere in this article?
There is, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I'll send the link.
Tweet
through.
it out.
So, performing under the stage name Lelouch, he urged the public to vote him out, saying he did not want to be among the 11 winners of the show, who are contractually obliged to form a boy band. Don't love me, you'll get no results, he said on one episode.
But he's just playing into like the bad boy stereotypes, like, don't love me, babe.
This is literally like an early Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
But viewers took his dour persona and kept him in the running for nearly 3 months.
Amazing. These viewers are incredible people, all of them.
Idol training shows, a TV genre originating in South Korea that puts hundreds of young performers through rigorous boot camps and audience votes, have become massively popular in China. In this one, contestants were corralled into dorms on a tropical island in China's Hainan province and had their phones confiscated for most of the season. Anyone who wanted to break their contract and leave midway through the season, which began in mid-February, had to pay a steep fine. While critics have questioned the transparency of the voting on idol shows, Mr. Ivanov appears to have struck a genuine chord as an anti-hero for Chinese audiences. Fans, some earnest and some ironic, dubbed him, quote, the most miserable wage slave, and celebrated him as an icon of, quote, sang culture, a popular concept among Chinese millennials referring to a defeatist attitude toward everyday life.
Wow, yeah. He had
Don't let him quit, one viewer commented on a video of a dejected-looking Mr. Ivanov performing a Russian rap. Sisters, vote for him. Let him 996, another fan commented, using the Chinese slang for the grueling work schedule that afflicts many young employees, especially in digital startups.
Wow.
The unlikely star made it to the final episode of the show on Saturday, where he failed to earn enough votes to join the boy band.
I'd love to see the moment he finds out.
I'm finally getting off work. I'm relieved, Mr. Ivanov said on Sunday on his Weibo account.
Poor Mr. Ivanov.
He really, like, I haven't watched any of the footage yet, but all of the thumbnails that I can see of him, he truly is the most miserable wage slave that I ever did espy.
You wouldn't have to be very miserable, like even only like 5% miserable for it to look insane, in contrast to how like high energy people on idol shows have to be, right? Because it's like everyone wants to be in this position that is at all interested in like performing. So I feel like if you even had like a slightly fucked up vibe, it would read in such a bizarre way. Like imagine him like making eye contact with any of the other contestants during his choreography pieces that they're doing together, and they're like popping and locking, and he's just like heaving himself along.
He's just doing
to the rhythm.
Sort of dejected two-step.
I like the idea that he's like he's so naturally gifted in this department that even like when he's going at 50%, he can't help but just perfectly nail
everyone to shame.
These beats. It's just a great curse to have. Truly a hero for our time.
He actually is. Like, the weird thing is that I felt really sorry for him reading it, but also 100% he'd have been my favorite, and I'd have voted for him.
For sure. Sorry, Mr. Ivanov.
Sorry, pal. I cannot get over the fact that this was for 3 months.
That's a quarter of a year, guys. Like, he's probably missed the birthdays of at least some family members in that period of time. At least some loved ones have been wondering. Do you think they've known where he was if he had no phone for this period? They're like, oh yeah, he's probably just fine.
Yeah, because I don't think, I don't like to call them out on the show, but I don't think, and it's not necessarily ignorance on their part, but if I were a star of Chinese reality TV, that my family would have picked up on that.
No, they wouldn't have found out, definitely.
Would you? So, I mean, I don't even think you'd have found out.
Quite possibly not. I'll be honest, guys, I don't watch a lot of Chinese reality TV, and maybe that's on me. I should be keeping track, because if we'd seen that sad glint in Mr. Ivanov's eyes months ago, like, we could have saved him. That could have been us.
Or we could have kept voting.
We could have kept him there for 3 years, guys. Yeah. We could have made him into the new.
We could have made
Jackson.
A huge movement to get him contractually obligated to be part of this band,
to be our god, to be our bard god. It'd be beautiful. Wow. Well, what a funny old world it is. What a journey we've travelled on.
So much that's been going on.
Sometimes when you're at like a theme park or something, you go on an experience and you feel like every aspect of it, from the very sign outside to the queue to, of course, the ride experience itself, and even the after show, has been like all pointing you in one thematic direction. And then there are other rides like this one today where it's very much a whistle-stop tour of what the Imagineers can do, what they're up to, like just little ideas here and there. And that's no worse, guys. Just because you haven't spotted the theme yet doesn't mean that Declan didn't weave one in for you to find.
It is there.
Quern style. You've got to go back through, listen to every 12th word, and particularly watch as much Chinese reality TV as you can, and it will all slot together in a beautiful penny drop.
It's interesting that you mentioned that it was Quern style.
Yes, a term that everyone's using, right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, it's pretty Quern style, people might say, of a thing.
Does that, because I wouldn't, about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have known. I mean, I know now, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have. And I'm just thinking, like, what does that mean for people who...
It means that people, if they don't know, then they should take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror, to be honest. Because if they're not over at twitch.tv/shamecity with 2 Ys every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Sunday, apart from not today, then quite frankly, what are they doing with themselves? Because we're out there, like Mr. Ivanov, on that grustle, on that grind, trying to make affiliate. Well, we actually have made affiliate. Thank you to everyone who helped. And you should come and check us out, where we play games like Quern, but no longer Quern, because we finished it, may I say, easily. I think you'll agree.
Oh, we breezed through it.
Yeah.
And that was over at shame.city/Twitch, was it?
Yeah, that's another way of getting there, for sure. That's a great and valid choice. No judgment.
That's pretty good. My advice would probably be, go and join shame.city/Discord, and then you'll get all sorts of notifications for it and links. There'll be chats,
not too many. Like, don't go thinking it'll be annoying, because it won't. Warm your heart.
No. But it will just, like a sort of like a gentle reminder every day.
Yeah, like a massage from a very sort of firm-fingered friend, you know.
Or someone, you know, you've come home from a hard day's work.
And your firm-fingered friends, like, in the corner, just vibrating up a storm.
There are stop that.
Dribbling and drizzling from the mouth gob.
Don't listen to Isaac. He's not well.
Crinkling their fingers in readiment.
Being away from his desktop doesn't do him any
Bathing
good.
them in natural oils.
No, your partner has made you your favourite drink of choice.
Or a stew.
You sit down on the sofa.
Or a chair.
Perhaps your favourite chair. Yeah, your favourite one. Maybe you've laid down on the bed.
Ooh,
and they
suggestive.
come over and they give you this
They
drink,
unsheath their digits.
Just a little. No, they give you just a little kiss on the forehead, and they just go, just so you know, there's the boys over at Shame City. They're streaming tonight. And you go, oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much. I just got this knot on my back, if you wouldn't mind. And then they go straight to work, digging into the folds, into the crevices where the secret knots live. So and that's what we're like.
Contributions there are optional, but if that's your thing, you're not necessarily the person I want watching or listening, but I'll still record and stream for you.
It's an inclusive space. But yeah, come and check that out. We've got a Twitter at Shame City Gang. And we've got a whole lot of episodes planned, and I use the word with caution, for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a huge month, May, isn't it?
It's an enormous month.
Crazy big.
It's an enormous month. There's 31 days.
Yeah, and every one of them you're going to fill with some content, I've heard.
Is that, well,
That's your pledge, your May pledge.
To everyone, or just can it be just for me?
I guess everyone. And also, we can exclusively reveal that we're in talks with our people have connected. We're in talks about a spin-off, That's a Shame spin-off project, which may be hitting your ears in the calendar year 2021. But who knows? Fingers crossed.
That's exciting stuff.
It's huge. It's crazy big.
That is big.
So look, this has undoubtedly been an episode of news and olds intertwined together, Ouroboros style, like the great big circle of life. Some of us have found themselves back where it all began. In fact, I'm sitting some 8 feet directly above where this podcast started in April of 17, and that I'm certain makes it so special that you'll forgive any technical mishaps that I honestly won't be editing out because I don't have the time of day, and any interrupting and over talk. This is just, we're making do with the tools that God gave us, and what more could you ask?
That's part of the joy of art, isn't it? The veracity of it. That's like when you can see the fingerprints in the clay in the Aardmans, right? That's
or the
just
boom mic in a shot.
Yeah, that's good as well. That's
Willem Dafoe's confusingly large penis that has to be removed from
just comically, like awe-inspiringly, unbelievingly large. And I think that it just shows you that real love went into making this.
It's so true. It's so true. And there'll be some more real love next Sunday. Before then, though, if you're over on the Patreon at patreon.com/shamecity for just $5 a month, which I think is about £4 at the moment with our very bad exchange, you can get bonus episodes every Wednesday, and there's some video stuff sometimes, and if we get to a certain amount of patrons, then I think Declan will come around your house and cook you dinner, and there's all sorts of cool things going. So head over there, and why not have a little peek.
Sounds like there's so much on there that even I don't know about it.
Yeah, I've been filling it right up with some demands and
I'll have to subscribe just to find out what on earth I'll be doing.
May as well. Until the next one, I've been Isaac, standing up, prancing around my room with a microphone that I'm holding in my hand.
I've been Declan.
And we'll see you in the newspapers, guys. Fun one there. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't necessities of life will come to you.